Impact Interview is sponsored by the Pocono Mountains, where small-town charm meets big adventures. Book your trip today by visiting PoconoMountains.com.
Well, welcome back. This week, our Impact Interview is with Robert Gibbs. He's best known for being the White House press secretary from 2009 to 2011 and for being the communications director for the Obama campaign in 2008. However, see if you can follow this, what many people don't know is he grew up in Auburn, Alabama, was a soccer goalie in college at NC State, and just like R.J. Paterno owes his very existence to a chance meeting between two people in Penn State's library that became his parents. Robert, welcome to Nittany Game Week. What a backstory you got, my friend.
Yeah, it's a great story for everybody that we should tell it to. My parents both worked at the Penn State Library, and were it not for their getting to know each other at Penn State, I wouldn't be here to do this interview or to do anything else. So it was special. Last year I went to Penn State for this game, and being at a whiteout game was a bucket list thing for me. But I'd only been to State College one other time, and it was nice to go back, to be in the library, and text my mom and tell her we were eating out and things like that. So good times, good memories. But that's enough soft talk about, being nice to Penn State.
Yeah.
Let's.
That's right. And look, we got some hard questions. You think those White House pool reporters were tough? Wait till you get a load of Tom Bradley. All right, well, look, let's hit that Penn State connection right away. While you are an Auburn fan, your parents met at PSU, worked in the university libraries, as you mentioned. Two questions for you. How much did their commitment to education impact your life, career choices, and then any chance there's even a light pull in the heartstrings for Penn State this weekend, but I have a feeling the Auburn stuff in the background answers that one.
Yeah, I'll go with the second one first. Look, I will say it's hard not to think of my parents when I hear about Penn State because of that story of their meeting there. So I do have a bit of a soft spot for the Nittany Lions. Maybe not so much sort of right around kickoff on Saturday. Their impact, they were both librarians, and so, they were the values they instilled in my brother and me around education and the importance of it, reading, which, was not always my favorite thing to do. And maybe that was a rebellion against two librarians, but, I love it now. And, the foundation that they were able to give us, it tells a lot about where we are today.
Robert, having sat with you last year, I can tell you that Robert and his son Ethan were laser focused on rooting for Auburn. There was no soft spot. Obviously, the backdrop says it all, but you're also an avid college football fan. You mentioned the whiteout being a bucket list thing for you last year. So give Penn Staters your first-time impressions of what you saw at the whiteout.
Oh, I was blown away. It was, and I think Penn State fans will get an appreciation for it at Jordan-Hare. It's a loud place, and everybody is super focused. But, I was blown away. It's a huge atmosphere. First of all, it's gorgeous. The sun was setting. The environment was great. We walked around the tailgate. It was a lot of fun. And again, I just remember thinking, man, this is as loud as advertised. And there's a lot of stadiums that like to sort of pretend like they have a bigger and outsized impact on games. I'm pretty sure that stadium has had impact that is not outsized in terms of what people think it is. You can't hear yourself think in there. It's loud, and I think it was a big benefit last year. I'm hoping we bring, I know we will, we'll bring some of that noise this year and hopefully disrupt that offense a bit.
Robert, Tom Bradley, I've had quite a few of those games at the whiteout there. It's a lot of fun, especially when you get on a roll. But since you're an intense Auburn fan, can you give Penn State fans your rundown on the Tigers in 2022?
Yeah, I'll try to do my best. Look, I think it's going to be an interesting game. We've played we haven't had real strong opponents. I know you guys had Purdue in the first game. we haven't had real strong opponents yet. So I think I'm interested to see sort of what this team really has. What have they possibly been holding back? I think clearly the strength on offense, Tank Bigsby and his backup, Jarquez Hunter, who, really a strong run game. And I think our offense, if we've got to establish the run, that sets everything up. I think it'll be interesting. We've kind of alternated quarterbacks for different series between TJ Finley, the transfer from LSU, and Robbie Ashford, the first-year player transfer from Oregon. So I think it'll be interesting to watch what's the role of each quarterback in this. I think our receivers got to really come, and our offensive line has got to help establish that running game. On defense, I think. And Jay, we were talking about this a little earlier. I mean, I think the defensive line and our linebackers are really the key. I think, man, having sat in the stadium last year, I'm still waiting for us to get pressure on Clifford. I think he was 28 for 32 last year, just kind of, picked us to death. And I think our defensive line has got to get some pressure because our secondary is pretty young. And then the old adage, too, like we've had a couple of games so far, stupid penalties, dumb mistakes, and I don't think you can make any of those against Penn State.
We're going to step aside for the TV show to take a break. Robert's going to stay with us for a little while longer to continue our conversation. Make sure you go to NittanyGameWeek.com for the entire interview along with other web-exclusive content.